Alright guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be talking about the MrBeast allegations. So MrBeast is the number one YouTuber on this platform, and he's been getting a lot of criticism for a lot of his past actions, and a lot of people have been making hit pieces on him, like Dogpack 404 and CoffeeZilla, and a lot of people, especially in the commentary community, have been talking about this topic for a while because it's a very interesting topic. MrBeast is the number one YouTuber on this platform, and he has a big reputation. He has like a good guy reputation. So to hear all this bad stuff going on about him is really just diminishing his whole character. So MrBeast hasn't said anything for a while until a couple of days ago, where oompaville uploaded a video on his channel called MrBeast Response. So in this video, they're basically just going through a lot of the MrBeast allegations, like some of his crypto stuff, some of his association with Delaware and Chris Tyson, and also faking videos and stuff like that. So I'm just going to be going through some of the more interesting points that I find on this interview. If you want to see the whole interview, I'll leave a link down in the description, but I'll just basically be going through some of the more interesting points that I found here. And yeah, let's just continue on. So the first point I want to talk about is Delaware. So if you don't know who Delaware is, he is basically a ex-crew member on the MrBeast channel, and he also used to work as a manager. But pretty much this guy has a bad history, and his history is he was a diddler. And I can't really say more than that without YouTube trying to take down this video. But basically he was on the registry list for trying to meet a underage person. I can try to see if I find the screenshot on screen. I'll put it on screen if I can. But yeah, basically, MrBeast. A lot of people were claiming that MrBeast allegedly knew this and still hired him onto the team. And MrBeast's channel is very like pointed towards the younger audience. So having this guy on this team where he can easily access a bunch of younger audiences is a dangerous thing. So that's a very big point that people were making, and MrBeast addressed that, and I'll play the clip right now.
I did hire him, but for the context around it, I hired him when I was 19, so I was a teenager, and this is kind of leans a little bit into what we were talking before. This is back when it was just a couple of my friends from high school, my mom. My videos were getting bigger. I needed more help, and so I walked in because I'm dumb. Like I probably should have gone on some site and hired people who had production experience, but instead I walked into my local Best Buy and I just hired multiple people. Obviously, when I was a teenager, I didn't know what a background check was, and I just hired a couple people there that wanted to help me make videos. One of them was the person named Delaware, and no, I did not know he was a registered sex offender. There's a rumor that's gone around that said that he sat me and my mom down and told us. Obviously, I don't remember that happening, and when I read that tweet, the first thing I did was I called my mom, and I was like, hey, this is like 7 or 8 years ago. Just put this in context. 7 or 8 years ago, not indicative of my company today, but I was like, did this happen? Because someone's claiming this happened. My mom said, I would have literally quit or honestly probably shut the business down before I ever let my teenage son hire a registered sex offender knowingly, which I have a very protective mom. So, I mean, even if you don't believe me, you should at least believe that. I feel like it's not absurd to believe that my mom wouldn't have knowingly let her teenage son hire a registered sex offender. Like that just doesn't even, like, in what world does that even make sense?
Yeah,
It's like that just, I mean, that's not even rooted in reality. So, but yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing that happened. Not that this, I take accountability. Yes, if I could go back in time, I would tell teenage me, hey, you're supposed to do background checks. 19-year-old me, he started a retention charge.
So MrBeast actually says something pretty interesting here, in my opinion. He said that he was way too young to manage the business at the time. It was only him and his friends and his mom pretty much just managing the channel. It wasn't like a big corporation like it is today. So MrBeast didn't really have experience on hiring people. So he just pretty much found people who he thought were certified. They worked at Best Buy, so it seems like they're just some like normal people. And to be fair, if Best Buy didn't know about Delaware's record, then how would have MrBeast known too? That's the thing. Like if Best Buy allowed that man to work there without that background check, then MrBeast probably wouldn't have seen it coming either. So it was pretty much just a big surprise to everybody. I don't think he knew about it at all, and I'm pretty sure no one really knew about it until people digged onto his record and found that, hey, this guy is a weirdo. So yeah, I don't think MrBeast is that much of fault here. Of course, what he did was still pretty dangerous, but this is just a lesson for him to learn. And yeah, I don't think he's gonna make this mistake again. Hopefully not. So the next clip I want to talk about is basically an allegation of MrBeast faking his videos. And one specific example is the 100 boys versus 100 girls video, where basically he has 100 boys and girls in a room, and they're basically doing a last to leave challenge. Whoever has the more people in the room at the end of the challenge wins for their side. And what MrBeast did was he put some of his employees in the video, and a lot of people were bringing that claim up to him, saying that he just faked the challenge. He just wanted his employees to win. He's not actually flying out subscribers to do the challenge. That was some of the claims that were being told. And let me play MrBeast's response to that.
We had 100 boys, 100 girls. They're competing in a video. Leading up to the video, they're supposed to quarantine. This was years ago when, at the height of COVID. A lot of questions people have about my videos, like that in these recent things I've noticed, usually the answer is like COVID, like why things aren't as like we would normally do it. But in this instance, they quarantined. When they showed up to the studio, a couple people on both sides tested positive for COVID. We didn't have them all in a group. We, isolated and tested. And so now I'm stuck with a tough decision because we have all these people who just took off work for a week and took even more days off work to film this video. A couple people on each side of the 100 girls, 100 boys tested positive for COVID. I can't go grab random people off the street because they haven't quarantined, right? And back then, I think COVID tests are better now, but back then, it took like 2 days for the COVID test to be able to pick up whether or not you had COVID, something like that. Not a doctor. This isn't Joe Rogan. Bro, no one knows that though, right? I could just gone and grabbed random people off the street and it would have been fine. But I was trying to like be protective of the contestants. So my employees were routinely quarantining back then because, in the studio and things like that, we didn't want an outbreak. So I just went to the employees who weren't working on the 100 girls versus 100 boys video and was like, hey, I don't want to cancel this video. Who wants to be in it? And so a couple of them volunteered, filled in the empty gaps. My girlfriend quarantined with me, so I threw her in there. And then we got the numbers up. I was good. Like, good. The video's on. And yeah, they were competing for money like everyone else. Transparency. I'll look at the camera. No, they were not there to rig it. I did not tell them what to get out. I did not tell them what to do. They had their own free will. And yeah, I really didn't think.
So MrBeast's explanation for this was actually really good. So pretty much what happened was people tested positive for COVID, and they're supposed to have 100 boys and 100 girls per side in this video. So some of them tested positive for COVID, and obviously they can't film the video with them having COVID. So they had to find some more people to fill in the gaps, and the only people who really could have filled in the gaps in that situation were the employees who were already safe, and they were just working there alongside them to film the video. That was the only right decision. If he decided to bring in some random people who were not quarantined from the streets, that could have got a lot of people sick, could have got a lot of people tested positive for COVID. And I think this was a good call on MrBeast's end, just to hire employees instead of hiring random people from the street who were not quarantined at the time. I think this is a good call. So, yeah, I think that's dismissed right there.
The next thing that I wanted to talk about was about Ava Chris Tyson. So, if you guys don't know who Ava Chris Tyson is, basically they are one of MrBeast's former friends and crew members who used to appear in a lot of the videos. But Chris was exposed for talking with a underage individual inappropriately when he was an adult. So MrBeast had to cut him off for that reason. But one other significant thing that Chris did was buy a very legal poster of a underage cartoon character, and it was seen in one of MrBeast's videos, and MrBeast was acknowledging the poster several times in that video, but he didn't really address it at all. And people are wondering why he didn't take down the poster or do anything about the poster. So let me play the clip where he addresses that.
Talk a little bit about Ava Tyson and specifically the Shadman stuff. I know we talked about the third-party investigation, which found no wrongdoing in like a legal sense from that perspective. The thing that a lot of people care about is Shadman's a fucking freak and is a disgusting person. Did you know about the painting in? Did you know about that? Have you ever interacted with Shadman before? Like, what is your relation to that, and specifically that relationship between Shadman and Ava Tyson and you?
Yeah, no, that's actually a good follow-up question. So this is what it was like. I don't remember 7, 8 years ago. Back then, I used to have like a bunch of anime posters up on the wall. I just like set a foundation for context. We used to have a bunch of anime posters and things like that on our wall in the house. And one day, Ava put up this poster that was like an animated character holding a fidget spinner and a gun. Admittedly, it's a weird image. I didn't know who made it. I just kind of assumed it was a meme. I obviously did not know who Shadman was. I've never spoken with Shadman. I did not buy the poster or commission it or anything. And Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really think too much of it because we just had like a lot of anime posters and things up, and it was an animated character that was clothed.
So Mr. Beast basically just says that, hey, I don't know who this person was on the poster. I didn't know who created the poster. I don't know why Chris bought the poster. Pretty much the blame is just on Chris, and Mr. Beast doesn't have anything to do with it. And he does say that there was always posters around the house that people just hung up, so he never really thought much about it. If you were a OG Mr. Beast fan, you would know that Mr. Beast just always had a lot of posters up on his wall. Um, Never to the degree of, that underage character, but the house always did have some like posters up on the wall. So I think he is being pretty genuine here when he's saying that.
So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was about the MrBeast investigation. So basically what happened here was MrBeast hired a independent third party to investigate his company to see if there was anything illegal or anything serious going on, because ever since the Ava Tyson allegations were dropping, he needed to find out if there was anyone else doing stuff like that, or if anybody knew. So yeah, he needed to investigate the people in his company just to make sure that there wasn't anything illegal going on. And the investigation took longer than he thought, but after 3 months of waiting, he finally released the conclusion of the investigation. And here are the results on screen. But basically, it says that the allegations of sexual misconduct were denied, and also the allegations of hiring people who were, um, you know, hiring people like Delaware on purpose, that was also rejected. So, yeah, they pretty much just found Mr. Beast innocent, and a lot of people were just questioning the true genuineness of that, because it would be easy for Mr. Beast to just pay off the investigators to say, hey, find my company innocent and you guys get a bag. But let's hear what Mr. Beast has to say to that.
The big thing on the internet, on Twitter specifically, was that you found yourself to be innocent. Of course, you paid a law firm to find yourself innocent.
I saw those memes. Yeah.
There's the big meme. How would you respond to the allegation that the investigation was biased from the start?
Yeah. So first off, to just set the foundation, I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh, of course, Jimmy did an internal investigation, found himself, they didn't find any wrongdoing," which is also not true. Which I assume we'll go into that more later. They did find some wrongdoing, just not in regards to like the serious Ava allegation. So that's a false truth. And then on top of that, it wasn't an internal investigation; it was an external investigation, which was clearly laid out in the things we showed.
Yeah, a third party investigation.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mean, it is a little bit of a a lot of people I saw were saying like, well, you paid them. And it's like, well, yeah, top tier lawyers and federal prosecutors don't work for free, so I have to pay them.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how to debunk that one. I mean, it just is what it is. But yeah, we hired Quinn Emanuel, which is one of the top law firms in the world. Like, I mean, it was very expensive, but I intentionally picked them because they have a reputation and they're not just going to destroy their entire business to be biased towards me. You know what I mean? And then it was led by a former federal prosecutor who did the whole.
So yeah, Mr. Beast pretty much just says, hey, I didn't pay off the investigators because, that'd be highly illegal to pay off investigators to withhold, evidence like that from the police. So that's why that's not even worth doing in his case. And yeah, that just makes complete sense. I don't think it would be a smart idea for, a big company like him who's literally in the spotlight right now to be doing that. And that would probably just get them in even more trouble than they already are in. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in today's video about the MrBeast allegations. I know I'm a little late, but it took me a while to edit this. So I hope you guys can appreciate the video still. And if you made it all the way to the end, I'd really appreciate if y'all subscribed. I'm going to try to come back to YouTube and we'll just see how this goes. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and goodbye.